Okay, so I'm gonna try this. Basically, I'm going to explain something really important. And if you, without this, you cannot be successful trading. I mean, right? I'll give you an example of what gold did. Gold did today. If you understand this, you know how much potential there is to make money. But um, before I get before I get into that, right? Understand this: that when you're analyzing the market, you're analyzing the market with three factors: one, price; two, volume; three, time. All right, that's it. That's what you analyze the market with. So if you have a wave, right, you analyze it with price, volume, time. Let's say it goes up 5 points. It goes up and it does that in 30 minutes, and the volume is 5,000 contracts, something like that. Right? Okay, so that's price, volume, and time analyzing the market. It can also be done in candle chart, it can be done on order flow, blah, blah, blah. The point here I'm trying to make is that these are the three factors. And these three factors, they create the lens or glasses through which you look at the market: price, volume, and time. Why? Because these are three factors of supply and demand. All right, done. So these are three factors of supply and demand. You got to master them in whatever chart you're using, whatever technique you're using, whether it's Elliott or whether it's Gann or whatever, Wyckoff. Basically, these are three factors of supply and demand, and this is how you view the market in terms of price, time, and volume, no matter what methodology you use. All right. Now, the second part. So everybody has some methodology, but it's all rooted in price, time, and volume. Okay. Whichever technical methodology. If it's order flow, you're looking at the volume, done at the price, reactive buying and selling, etc., etc. All right. For profiles, basically you have market profile and you have volume profile. What is market profile? It's time. Time spent at various levels trading. What's volume profile? Volume done at that price. So again, it's all methodologies all point to these three factors of supply and demand. Very important conclusion and very important observation. But you cannot make a dime with any of these methodologies if you don't understand the psychology. And why is that the case? Because the psychology will stop you from effectively using this methodology to make tons of money. The psychology. So what are the factors? All right. Now the key factor is fear. And you could say it's just like supply and demand, it's fear and greed, right? For the most part, fear and greed are the, just like supply and demand is to the market, fear and greed are the key factors that drive you, but in particular, it's fear. Predominantly, it's fear because the survival brain it is triggered by this fear. All right, now fear is what messes up the execution, and fear is what messes up the taking of profits, and fear is what messes up um, even if you backtest, right? Let's say you backtest and you say, "Oh, I have great results," you'll never be able to execute it correctly. Something will go wrong because of this. So, just like supply and demand has three factors, fear has four types. One is FOMO, two is fear of loss, three is fear of missing the entire move. So I don't know what to call it. It is greed, but fear of leaving money on the table. That's what it's classically called. And then four is fear of being wrong. Now the question is, how do they interact with you when you are trading? How do they mess you up? Okay, it's not just definitions here. All right. In fact, when they say, okay, follow your process, if this is not understood, you cannot follow the process. The process is useless if you don't overcome this. Don't overcome fear in anything that you do, specifically trading, which has so much rewards, if you don't, and I'll show how it messes you up. Because eventually, they talk about, okay, having a process and journaling. Journaling is all about dealing with these things. All right, that's what it is. All those errors come from these four things, four fears. All right, so unless these are, and they're always, the crazy part is you always have to be aware of them and the errors they create. Okay, and then build psychological muscle to control this. Otherwise, even if you're a winning trader, you become a losing trader. Right, now, I'll explain how. Let's go with the FOMO. So what most people think, oh, FOMO is getting in at the high, like buying the high, right? This is a very simplistic understanding of FOMO. FOMO can drive many, many things. Many, many things. And fear of loss. See, for example, you have FOMO entry, right? So let's say this, I think a lot of the supply and demand traders, they know about this, right? So the FOMO entry, you see the market over here and you buy here, right? If your methodology is that supply and demand or support and resistance, you're supposed to buy here, not here. So FOMO is directly connected to entries. All right. So one other example I'll give. All right, so let's say, why did the person get over here? Okay, so I gave the FOMO entry, but I will show you the reason is because he got a big green bar. All right, so the market was going down and he got a big, this is the FOMO bar. It's not just a price volume spread or big range bar or a key reversal or whatever. This exactly is a FOMO bar. It is, in my opinion, I've come to the conclusion that the market actually, whoever runs it, designs, they create these bars in order to run the stocks later, in order to generate liquidity. They need FOMO bars because they will get you in to the market, and that is very important in order for strong hands to establish positions. So the easiest way to do that is to create big green and big red bars. If you create big green bars and big red bars, they have the ability to pull in traders. It's that simple. They pull in traders. They are notorious for pulling in traders. They're designed for that. I mean, that's the best way I can kind of explain it. All right, so you have the FOMO entry bar and the FOMO levels. All right, so this is just two examples. I'm not going to go into all the details of FOMO, but the third example would be the FOMO signal. Right, so let's say you have right, and let's say you're a breakout trader. To keep it simple, you get this, and it part of your system or whatever approach says that this has to be on big price and volume, the breakout, right? But it has little volume or not a lot of volume. What are you going to do? You take the trade. Call this FOMO signal. Why do you take the trade? Level, this is FOMO level. So people are gonna, they're gonna get here FOMO level because they think it's going to do what? It's gonna go up. So they get in here. Here, again, FOMO bar, they get in. Why? Big green, always works. FOMO signal to execute is Y. Now your breakout needed big price and big volume, but you don't take it. I mean, you take it, but it did not have big volume. So you compromise on the criteria for entry because of FOMO. So FOMO will push you to negotiate or renegotiate your entry criteria. It will do this at the level that you want to buy. It will do this for the trigger that gets you in. It will do this for the signal. So FOMO works for entries. All right. So again, if the market will use FOMO, or whoever's controlling the market, the algorithms will use FOMO to get you in at the wrong price, right? Because you know what's going to happen here. It's going to do that, and then go up. All right. So you get in here, you get stopped out here. This is the original entry. Boom, boom, pow. FOMO bar will get you in. It is going to be the trigger at the wrong place or whatever. And finally, FOMO signal, which will make you compromise. All of them will make you compromise. FOMO, it makes you compromise on your entry criteria. That's basically what FOMO does. Okay, so I'm done with FOMO, but understand that this is how it works. All right. The next one here is fear of loss. So fear of loss, the way this thing works, and this FOMO and fear of loss are the most detrimental ones. These two, especially for certain people, one may be a little bit more than the other, but fear of loss and FOMO are the top two. All right, now how this works is basically, have you heard of the saying, tight stop? This is the dumbest thing. I mean, this is the worst feedback that ever, tight stop. Because the market generally, when it goes down, because of the up and down movements, they will take it out. So fear of loss works on stops. Stop placement, stop movement. Fear of loss works on your stops. All right, now I'm going to show an example. All right. So the market did this, and you decide to get enter, and you enter. Where do you enter? You enter here. All right. Especially, and you get really happy. All right. Now this is a minor blip. It just goes down here. Your stop is here. On a let's say it only does this. Okay. So you move it here. All right. You move it here. And then market up thrust and then goes lower. So the stop movements of stops, the movement of stop to an incorrect location. Why is this incorrect location? Because it's not a rally down, it has no follow through, it's just a little move down to support. So you move your stop from there to there because of that green little move down. And then you get stopped and it goes. So this fear of loss fear of loss works on how your stops are placed and moved. Right? So FOMO works on entry, fear of loss works on stops. All right, and then there are other manifestations, but I'm trying to keep it really simple. It works in stops. Fear of leaving money on the table. You can say it's this also is a killer. Typically, when you have winning streaks and they become losing streaks, when you go from winning streak to losing streak, somewhere in the middle, this thing came. Fear of leaving money on the table. Somewhere in the middle of winning and losing streak, this thing, it plays a part. So what happens is, let's say you got in here, the market yesterday did this. Today, it does the same thing. And your target was here and here. Okay, so you quote unquote missed out on this entire piece. So now you don't want to miss out again. So where do you put the target? Up here. What happens? That happens. It doesn't go to target today, but it went yesterday. But because it went yesterday, you mess with the target today. So what is this? It is fear of leaving money on the table because of the big move yesterday, driving your decisions to where to put your target today. So fear of leaving money operates on targeting. All right. This is also called hope targeting, right? Hope targeting. So we call this hope targeting. But basically the idea is FOMO works on entries, fear of loss works on stops, fear of leaving money on the table works on the target. Now where does fear of being wrong work? And this is a very, very I know I'm oversimplifying this because I don't, I'm not trying to write a book here. But fear of being wrong is why an analyst stays an analyst and never becomes a trader. They're really good analysts, but cannot trade. Now, and this is a lot of cases where the stuff you see those Wyckoff, guys on YouTube and all that sell products and shit, or analysts on various. Anyway, the point is, where does fear of being wrong get you? Okay. The reason why they never review the trade to learn the trade, to get better from the trade, is because of this. So not analyzing mistakes and journaling to get feedback is driven by fear of being wrong. Because you have to understand there is a process. There is a process where you trade, you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes, get that feedback, improve your process, improve your execution. This is normal. The normal, normal. So, learning from your mistakes is very important and understanding what they are. But if this thing is there, fear of being wrong, you're not going to admit that it's a mistake. Therefore, you're not going to even analyze your trades. Therefore, you're not even going to journal. Therefore, a new day. Every day is a new day and you're not getting better. So this is how, in general, these fears work. Now, there's an interaction between these fears, by the way. Don't think, okay, this is only for entry, this is only for stop, this is for target. They interact. Okay? And somewhere here, you have probabilistic mindset, and you have greed, which obviously works with what? Fear of leaving money on the table, right? With the targeting. And the fear of loss can push other fears and all of that. So, but I'm just trying to give a really straightforward mapping. FOMO drives your entry screw-ups. Fear of loss drives your incorrect stop placement that you get stopped out and then the market goes. Fear of leaving money on the table is this most traders where they're profitable but they don't take anything from the trade and it goes against them is driven by this. And the reason why traders don't get better in the first place, where they don't analyze their process or they don't analyze their results, is because of this. Very, very important. You will not be able to execute on the market. You will not be able to follow a process. You will not be able to get out of a losing streak or a winning streak or maintain that, or you just can't trade without mastering this. This is foundational. And unfortunately, this is not taught. This is not taught about how the fears go impact the trading. It's not taught. What's taught is breakout. What's taught is Elliott's wave. What's taught is Wyckoff's point figure, cause and effect. But none of that is going to work unless an understanding of this and how and why you are doing what you are doing is understood. All right, that's all, folks. Take care.